Hey everybody, the last Shoegazer here, kicking off my very first original tag video. I got a little bit goofy with my 100 subs contest focus there with the guilty pleasures and wanting people to kind of, go to an uncomfortable place in their mind and kind of put themselves out there and have some laughs, and we certainly did that. I kind of wanted to switch gears with this, and I've been thinking about this for a while. I'm very much a nostalgic person. I tend to think about the past a lot because that's where I kind of revisit memories of people who I've lost. My dad, my best childhood friend, some really great neighbors who were kind of like adopted grandparents to me. Just a lot of memories from childhood and innocence, and just the days that you aren't going to live again. You know, so I find that in memory and kind of living in the past. I try not to do that too much. And movies kind of help me to do that, as I'm sure they do for many. I often kind of transport to a different time and place and think about a certain person, or the first time that I watched a movie and who I watched it with, those kinds of things. So in that sense, movies can be a really emotional experience for me. So I'm titling this tag the nostalgia tag. So I really want you guys to reminisce and go down your memory lane and share some of your stories, who you think about, what was special about that time and that place and that person. What about the different movies that you choose to show make you feel those feelings and think about those memories. I'm I'm going to show a lot. I went through a ton of my movies and pulled out a lot of the main ones that kind of make me feel nostalgic. You see some titles pictured here. I'm not going to show all of those, but hopefully you get a good idea of what I was interested in back in the day, and I'm going to share some thoughts along the way. So here we go. Very first one is Home Alone. This is a longtime favorite. I watch it every holiday season. It always takes me back. I love the 90s vibe, just the atmosphere, the setting of the beautiful house, that still stands today. It just, I don't know, it just feels warm and cozy, yet really kind of creepy and chilling at the same time. I think this was done really, really well by John Hughes. And just makes me think of my childhood and the holiday season, and it is just a really, really fun time. I never get tired of this. I could watch this once a day during Christmas. I have the soundtrack too. It's really, really awesome music. Next one is Jurassic Park. I especially love the original. I have a number of editions of that one. This is a cool adventure pack that I got a number of years ago. Has kind of a cool slipcase on it there. But, I just remember a lot of good kind of on the edge of my seat viewings there with some of my young childhood friends, and just loving the dinosaurs and Steven Spielberg's cutting edge, groundbreaking work. Just a phenomenal set of movies. Next one is Jaws. I have most all the movies in this franchise, but I love the original. I remember my dad telling me that he was actually at the beach with some of his buddies doing some surf fishing and kind of camping down there in like the Delaware area whenever this hit theaters, and they saw it on the weekend that it released, and they were really terrified, but they went fishing anyway the next day. But another awesome, groundbreaking Steven Spielberg film. I'm a huge Spielberg fan. Next one, I've shown this and talked about this before. And this was a favorite of my dad and I. He was a huge Monty Python fan. He really got me hooked on it. Their wild sense of humor, just completely unhinged, irreverent, just really a fun time. This is my favorite one. Really, really good collection of memories I have related to most of the Python films. Really didn't get into the flying circus. That was more of my dad's. If he was making one of these videos, he'd probably show the flying circus, but I got more into the feature films with him. Next one, Dumb and Dumber. I've talked about this before. This was my favorite childhood film with my best buddy, Steven. If you watched my Getting to Know You tag response video for Lisa Loves tag, I talked about this one. It always brings back good memories of him. I shared that he passed away some years ago from cystic fibrosis. So we had a lot of good laughs. Every time I watch this, it just reminds me to laugh and remember the good times of growing up and youth and all the cool stuff I did with him. Next one, I've talked about so many times on my channel. This is the very first horror movie that I ever saw, and it's my favorite werewolf movie. As many of you know, I'm a huge werewolf movie fan. The first time I watched this with my good buddy Joe, another one of my childhood friends, in his basement. I had no idea what I was getting into, and I walked away feeling terrified and had nightmares for a long time after it, but it's since become one of my all-time favorite movies. Next one, once again, as many of you know, Friday the 13th is my favorite slasher horror franchise. And, Friday the 13th. I also watched this one with my buddy Joe. We even did some of our own filming of our own Friday the 13th version. That's probably on VHS somewhere. I've been meaning to get a hold of him and see if he has the recording that we did. I remember he had the hockey mask on. He was just kind of stalking me around his basement, and I was trying to get away from him. I have no idea what that looks like, but I hope to get a hold of that, and I might even upload that someday if I can. But Friday the 13th, awesome franchise. Next one, The Munsters. Recently, over the past year, I believe I picked up both season 1 and season 2 here. I'll show it briefly, but just a really fun take on old school horror. The Frankenstein and you got your Dracula kind of character there, and the little boy was kind of like a werewolf, and the spooky mom. But yeah, just really fun family. This show did really well. I wish there were more seasons of this, but oh my word, Fred Gwynn, just really great. And there's season 2. And we have Goosebumps. This was not only my favorite book series growing up, it was also one of my favorite TV series as well. This is my favorite one, obviously. Being a werewolf fan, I was really drawn to this one. I really liked Goosebumps, as well as Are You Afraid of the Dark? I'm going to go through some Nickelodeon films in my collection here. This is volume 1. This is a collection that Amazon put together. This is one of those burn-on-demand collections, but I got this around Halloween time last year, and I picked up this one and Volume 2. Just kind of like greatest hits collections. A lot of my favorites are on both of these sets. So I'm not sure if these are still available, but if you're looking for a good hard copy, some of these shows are a little bit hard to come by. The full sets are kind of expensive, but I would recommend the Amazon collections. They're really great. Next one, Doug. This is another burn-on-demand collection here. The video quality is not quite as good on this one. It almost looks like someone did kind of like a re-recording, off of some of the original episodes. They don't look quite as good as the Are You Afraid of the Dark ones. The transfer is a little bit off, but you know what? You get the shows. The audio sounds good. The picture color is good. But yeah, the tracking is just kind of all over the place at points. But man, Doug, Skeeter, the whole gang, it's just awesome. Another favorite show, Rocko's Modern Life. And I'm really excited for the reboot. I'm not sure when that's happening. I think it should be soon, but this is the complete series. This is not a burn-on-demand. I got this at Walmart maybe 2 or 3 years ago. But yeah, I used to really love Rocko's Modern Life. Just really, really awesome. The trailer for the reboot looks really, really good. That's on YouTube if you guys want to check that out, if you were a fan of this one. Also liked, stuff like Rugrats and, similar shows there. Didn't really get into like Ren and Stimpy or anything like that too much. There were certain ones that my, parents kind of steered me a little bit away from. Usually they left it up to me kind of what I watched as long as it wasn't too out there. But yeah, there were some limits in some of that stuff, that and like Beavis and Butthead and things like that. I really wasn't allowed to watch, but Rocko, that's probably as close to some of that stuff as I got. Like King of the Hill too, I enjoyed that. Next one is one that I always watched with my dad, Home Improvement. This is the first season, but Tool Time. I love Tim Allen. I actually have the box set that looks like, the toolbox there. I might show that at some point on my channel, do a bit of an unboxing of that. My wife got that for me for my birthday. She gave it to me on my birthday beach trip that I take every year to Delaware. So I got that at the beach, and really, really cool set. So look for that at some point. But yep, good old Home Improvement. Awesome, awesome stuff. Always takes me back. And I thought I'd show this. This was in one of my pickup videos maybe a month or so ago. This is sort of like a greatest hits collection that I got at Best Buy of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. And if you guys, if you grew up on Mr. Rogers, check out, there's a trailer for a feature film that they're doing, kind of like a tribute to him and his life, that I would highly recommend. I could barely get through that with dry eyes. That's going to be phenomenal. So, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. But anyway, guys, I thought about different people that I would tag, but you know what? I want to hear from as many of my friends here on YouTube, whether that's just someone who comes across this video who's seen, just 1 or 2 of my videos, or if it's my great friends within the horror community, who I'm in contact with sometimes on a daily basis. I just want to hear from, as many people as I can. I want this to spread like wildfire and get people thinking about their memories. So enjoy, have fun, and I'm excited to hear from you.